They always say education is the great equalizer, but I learned early that it doesn't feel so equal when you walk into a classroom with dark skin, a quiet voice, and an address from the wrong zip code. My name's Elijah Carter. I'm 17, and until a few months ago, I thought maybe, just maybe, working hard would be enough to speak louder than the way the world looks at me. I'd always been the kind of kid who kept to himself, books over parties, headphones over hallway drama, but when I opened that college board email and saw the 1580 staring back at me, I swear, it felt like every early morning, every tired night. Every skipped lunch to review practice questions had finally meant something. 2 questions wrong. 2. I printed it out and held it like proof that I was more than what people assumed. And if you've ever been told, explicitly or silently, that someone who looks like you doesn't belong in spaces of excellence, like and subscribe. I still remember the exact moment it all shifted. I was sitting in AP Calculus, just trying to make it to lunch, when Mr. Ramirez knocked on the door and called me into the hallway. No explanation. Just that the principal wanted to see me. I walked the tiled halls in silence, my stomach starting to twist the way it does when you know something's wrong but can't name it yet. When I stepped into Principal Hughes's office, he smiled in that tight, practiced way some adults do when they're about to hit you with something awful but want to pretend they're being helpful. "Elijah," he said, motioning for me to sit. "We need to talk about your SAT score." My chest tightened. "There's been a concern," he continued. "The college board flagged it. They're questioning whether the test was taken fairly." My brain scrambled, trying to catch up. What?" I asked, confused. "What do you mean fairly?" He leaned back like he had all the time in the world. "It's a significant jump from your SAT, and we just want to make sure everything's legitimate." Legitimate. That word sat on my tongue like acid. I'd raised my score by 300 points, after months of grinding, waking up before dawn to study, locking myself in the library every weekend. I knew what I'd done. But all he saw was a dark-skinned black boy with a 1580. Not someone gifted, not someone disciplined, just someone suspicious. "Do you have any evidence I cheated?" I asked, my voice flat. No, he said quickly, hands raised, like he wasn't accusing me, just implying it to death. "It's just that statistically, I cut in, you don't have AP literature books with black authors on the reading list." That shut him up for a second. "Well," he said finally, "the college board has offered you a chance to retest, under supervision, of course." Supervision. Like I was a criminal. I wanted to scream, but I stayed still. I stared at him, heart pounding, remembering the way teachers would praise white students for the same answers I'd give, just louder. I didn't say another word. I stood, left his office, and walked straight out of school. I didn't even go home. I went to my mom's job. My mom, Dr. Simone Carter, works at the Educational Assessment Bureau, a national organization that partners with, you guessed it, the College Board. She's the reason I even knew what a percentile was in 6th grade. I found her in her office, still in her blue blazer, typing with headphones on. When I told her what happened, she didn't get loud. She got cold. She pulled up my SAT data and requested the exact flag that had been sent. Her face changed when she saw it, tight jaw, small inhale. "They flagged your score for being in the top 0.01 percentile based on your school's zip code," she said. "That's not a security flag. That's an algorithmic bias flag." I blinked. "So, they flagged me because someone like me isn't supposed to do that well?" She nodded, her voice sharp. "It's built into the system, Eli. They won't say it, but that's what it is." She asked me for permission to escalate it, and I nodded. I didn't even know what that meant. But the next morning, I found out. My mom had sent an internal memo, officially citing statistical bias, and copied half the testing organization's senior leadership. She included a declaration of conflict of interest. Then she published a redacted version on LinkedIn. By noon, it had 5,000 shares. By evening, it was on the front page of Ed Week. People couldn't believe it. A black teen with a near-perfect SAT score being flagged because his zip code and skin color didn't align with expectations. Principal Hughes called me back into his office 2 days later. This time, he wasn't smiling. He said the school was proud of my score and that there had been a miscommunication. I asked if that's what we call institutional racism now, miscommunication. He didn't respond. But I noticed the district superintendent's car parked outside. And the email we all got later that week? It announced a new equity audit of academic bias within the district. My name wasn't mentioned, but everyone knew. Some kids started looking at me different after that, some with respect, some with the same suspicion I'd fought against all year. But I held my head up. Not because I wanted to be some symbol, but because the truth was finally louder than their doubt. I didn't ask to become anyone's symbol, I just wanted to take a test and let my score speak for me. But when my mom's memo went viral, it was like a dam broke that had been holding back stories just like mine. Suddenly, I wasn't just Elijah, the quiet kid in the back of the class. I was that black kid who exposed a hidden bias built right into the SAT system, and no one knew what to do with that. My classmates kept it weird. Some offered fake-sounding congrats in the hallway, like I'd won a lottery, not outworked everybody else. Some teachers treated me like glass, avoiding eye contact, suddenly nervous when I raised my hand in class. And a few, I'll never forget this, acted like I'd embarrassed them personally. Miss Trent, my AP Lit teacher, gave me my first B of the semester on a paper she said didn't engage the text deeply enough, even though it was the exact structure I'd used all year. She didn't even mark the margins like usual. Just a red B and silence. I didn't say anything. I learned that silence, when held long enough, makes people panic more than yelling. The real turning point came a week later, when the New York Times ran a feature called Flagged for Brilliance, the algorithmic policing of black excellence. There I was, right in the middle, my face next to my SAT score, with the headline, Elijah Carter, 17, scored a 1580. The school reported him instead of celebrating him. It was surreal. I stared at the article like it was someone else's life. I didn't even know they'd run it until the school resource officer handed me a copy, no words, just a nod. The district tried to play it off as a misunderstanding, releasing a press statement about protocols under review, but it only made things worse. That same week, for other black students in the city reached out, kids who'd also had their scores flagged or retest demands quietly issued but never spoke up. One girl, Amaya from East Side, said she got a 1540 and was accused of memorizing answers. Another guy, Jordan, had tutors and still got flagged just because his SAT was too low for how high he jumped. I started connecting them, comparing emails, creating a folder full of flagged documentation that all pointed to the same thing. A built-in assumption that if we win, we must have cheated. It wasn't just racism, it was software-deep racism. A kind you can't argue with, because it's hidden behind data and patterns. But patterns are made by people. I said that in an interview with a local podcast and, somehow, it blew up. Patterns are built by people. And people have bias. That means your algorithms do, too. That quote ended up trending. I started getting emails from college professors, data scientists, even journalists asking if I'd speak at panels or submit op-eds. I ignored most of them, because honestly, I was tired. I didn't want to become the face of a movement. I just wanted to get through high school without being treated like a glitch in their system. But when I saw an email from the National Black Scholars Alliance, I paused. They offered to sponsor me to attend a summit in D.C. about educational equity. My mom told me it was up to me, but I could tell she was hoping I'd go. "It's bigger than us now, Eli," she said one night as she made dinner. "You already started the ripple. Might as well ride the wave." So I went. And for the first time, I sat in a room where I didn't feel like a statistical outlier. I met other black students who were also coded as exceptions, not because we were rare, but because the expectations were so low. One girl from Chicago, daughter of a janitor and a nurse, built an entire AI project that got published, and her teacher told her it wasn't really her voice. A boy from Alabama had his college essay flagged for plagiarism because it was too well written. Same story, different forms. We all had scars from a system that kept telling us, "You're not supposed to be this good." By the time I returned home, something had shifted in me. I started documenting everything. The way my counselor steered me toward local colleges when my SAT score clearly opened Ivy League doors. The way Mr. Redding had said, back in October, students like you should consider trade school. Like it was advice instead of a dismissal. I gathered it all. And then I applied to the top 10 schools in the country, Harvard, MIT, Stanford, all of them. I also attached my portfolio of press coverage, essays on algorithmic bias, and a personal statement that didn't sugarcoat a damn thing. I called it, what they saw when they saw me. I wasn't trying to be humble anymore. I was trying to be seen. And when the acceptance letters started rolling in, I didn't say much. Just forwarded them to Principal Hughes, one by one. He never replied. But the day Harvard sent my acceptance and full-ride scholarship, he made an announcement over the school PA congratulating one of our brightest seniors, without even saying my name. Coward. But I didn't need his voice anymore. Mine was finally loud enough. Graduation day came faster than I expected, but not fast enough to forget. I wore a deep navy blue robe, gold stole, and a pair of sneakers my mom designed for me. On the side, in her neat handwriting, she'd written, "Not the exception, just exceptional." I walked across that stage in front of 1,000 people, and as soon as they called my name, the gym exploded, not just from my classmates, but from faculty who'd once looked for me, from parents who had read the articles, from neighbors I didn't even know had followed the story. My mom was in the front row, smiling with her whole soul, and right next to her, arms crossed and face tight, was Principal Hughes. He handed me my diploma with the stiffness of someone trying not to choke on his own pride. "Congratulations, Elijah," he said flatly. "We regret the assumption." I didn't say thank you. I just looked him in the eye and said, "I don't." That night, I gave a speech, not because I was valedictorian, though I was, but because the school board asked me to close the ceremony. And I did. I told them about all the ways brilliance is misread when it comes in black skin. I told them about bias in guidance offices and algorithms, and every little, "Are you sure?" that chicks away at a student's confidence. I didn't name names, but I didn't have to. The truth hung in the air like a fog everyone had to walk through. And then I thanked my mom. I told the crowd the truth, that the test they thought I cheated on was one she helped design, years ago, as a way to better measure potential in underrepresented students. The irony was so thick it was almost funny. The woman who built the tool raised the boy they thought couldn't possibly use it well. When I finished, I stepped back from the podium and exhaled. I didn't need applause. I needed breath. And I finally had it.